Welcome, one and all, to the Pedantic Semantic. I'm your host, Harv Lawrence, here today again with Juice. As we said, Juice Arthropods. So, what's on the docket for this week? What are we selling?
So I have a couple different species. Everybody that knows me knows I love roaches. So first and foremost, I got Chunk back for you guys. He's hanging out. This one's crazy. I don't know what the hell it's doing up there. I also have these flat horn hissers. They'll be going up as well. These guys are weird. They're hissing cockroach, but they're also like they're flat as hell. So they have horns. The flat horn hisser. They're not real creative with names, guys. I'm sorry. But most importantly, I have one of the coolest Halloween themed, the Halloween hisser. So they look like a pumpkin and they're really cool, really easy pets. Along with that, we also have two different kinds of fruit flies. Not as exciting, but we started selling these recently. And not last, but not least, I have beetle jellies that I'm going to start selling. I'm actually doing currently apple, raspberry, blueberry, and a couple others. These are all organic and natural beetle jellies, so they don't have all that like citric acid and all the other stuff that a lot of these have. So they obviously won't sit on a shelf for 3 to 6 months, but they're homemade with organic fruit, which is something that I'm always preaching because all of my creatures can die if you feed them poisons, you bastard. That are not in like the hippie sense, but in like the actual things that will kill bugs sense. Last but not least, I'm going to be rolling out with my own soil here soon. So it's going to be Juice's bougie soil. So that's all for me. That's what I got going on.
All right. That sounds pretty good. Juice's dirt. What we're gonna need a better name for that. Juice's.
I would love for the audience to
soil.
let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. Chat, help
Juice's
us come up
something.
with some. Yeah, what are we naming the soil product? We need a good name for it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely dirty juice powder. That's definitely the top contender.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Like it.
All right, so we're gonna bust into today. Today we got 10 questions for Juice for the self-proclaimed pedantic semantic. Do you want to introduce yourself, your segment? What is the pedantic semantic? How did we arrive here at episode 3?
So the pedantic semantic was born out of I think it was I don't get high that often, but it was born out of the time that I did get stoned with you, and I kept correcting you, I think, on some bug things. And then we had mentioned like, oh, not to be pedantic semantic, but the idea is essentially there's lots of misinformation. There's also like a lots of people have questions, but then they turn to the internet, and the internet is filled with idiots. So it's just like these are some questions that people had that it's like, hey, you're not an entomologist, but like, what do you know? And if I don't know, I'll find out. I actually do have connections to entomologists. So yeah, that's what pedantic semantic is.
Okay, so what is pedantic semantic? It's me, your host, Hard Lawrence, getting questionably inebriated and asking for the people, by the people, we the people want to know things about bugs. And, we walk around our day to day lives with incorrect bug knowledge and trivia and facts that we just talk about. And here you are to correct and set the record straight about this is the truth about bugs. Okay. What I have to say as a subject matter expert is accurate. And so whatever is recorded on this film, this footage of this podcast is now law and
Correct.
irrevocably accurate. So just to be
Science.
clear. So
Yes.
with that, we have 10. I counted 10 questions, all in a theme. See if you out there in the chat can guess what today's theme is based on the questions. We'll have a little survey at the end. So these 10 questions, all submitted by people, and in fact, I can guarantee that Juice actually hasn't seen these in advance. These are actually a private list I picked. We're going to go through them together and learn a little bit. First thing we want to know, Juice, what is your least favorite arthropod?
I'm a little torn on this because I have the one that's like my least favorite for the world, and then I have the one that's the least favorite for me. So, which would you like me to start with?
Let's start with the one that's worst for the world.
Mosquitoes, 100%. They malaria is brutal. Like, yeah, they just I don't even know how many people die a year of malaria, but it's pretty bad. Oh, okay. We have slightly venomous in the chat. Knows what the next one I'm gonna say is. It's centipedes. I don't. I've got bit a lot by them as a child, so I don't have a particular fondness. But my actual reason for not liking them is because they eat spiders, and that's just a dick move. Like I know we need apex predators, but like we have birds for that. So like we don't need another thing that just decides that screw nature. I'm gonna eat whatever the hell I want. So they're just they're not my favorite. They're not my favorite. But I always tell people like they're great mothers. So like I can't take that away from them. Because I was grabbing
I'll take
handfuls of
that
them.
away.
That's why I was getting beaten. I know why I was getting bit by centipedes. I'm not. I wasn't doing the right thing. I have a pretty good idea why.
Interesting stuff. Speaking of mosquitoes, this actually plays right into question 2, is about mosquitoes, everyone. This is Kismet. Can you pop a mosquito with your blood? Meaning, do they have any sort of pressure regulator?
I, no, because like okay, this would be like if someone says, if I squeezed a Coke can while you're drinking Coke out of it, would your head explode? Like, no, they have the ability to like take as much drink as they need to. So you can't blow them up. I mean, I've never tested this, but like that would be a really failed design if you squeezed your muscle. Because I think that's the common theme that we hear, right? Is that like, oh, I
Yeah,
squeezed my
yeah.
muscle and then they died. They're piercing right through everything, but they're not punching into your muscle, right? They're punching into your like epidermis. So they're not going deep enough to like actually get into the muscle. So I can't see there would be any reason for that. But also like it's pretty sharp. Like so I even if like let's say hypothetically you've got like some insane like 6 foot long sorry, I need to stop reading chat. These guys are ridiculous. Even if you had like a 6 foot long, like needle, well, 6 inches long needle, I can't imagine it would actually impact it in any way. So that's what I'm saying. No, yeah, my epidermis, I guess, is showing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it also points to people not really knowing how blood works, I think
Right.
also.
Because
Like
like imagine if I let's just say I grab like a long pipe and I just shove it into like anything, like it's fluid, and I just put my mouth on it. Sorry for how that looked. And then water starts like just blowing up out of the hole. I'm just gonna pull the pipe out. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, just keep like my mouth over. Like I'm not gonna like do that with the Mentos Coca Cola or whatever the hell it is, and just like keep on my face. Like bugs aren't dumb, guys. I mean, they're dumb, but not like to their detriment of the world.
yeah, I guess that would make sense. Yeah, I don't think yeah, typically, yeah, if you squeeze a bunch of fluid through your straw, you don't explode.
Right. You've already failed. These creatures have been around since the dinosaurs, but sure, they're gonna die because you like made a muscle. That's fucking stupid. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't I guess in that sense, they don't have a pressure regulator because they wouldn't need one.
no, like you
That's
don't need
'cause
you don't need a pressure valve if you just aren't a dumbass. Like that's how it works. I slurp up
with a
soup, my
chat
head doesn't
question,
explode.
chat says, "What if I deliberately eat a lot of salt while the mosquito is chewing on me to raise my blood pressure?"
That is not how
Now
digestion works. Like if you eat a salt like a lot of salt right now, it's not gonna like immediately flood into your blood. Like if it did, you would die every time you ate anything that was too salty. That would be insane.
yeah, that seems
Because like your digestion works by basically going into your stomach, right? And then you have all of your okay, I'm not a doctor, so this is my very limited knowledge of that. It like absorbs like osmosisly through the veins, right? I think. And then it
yeah, yeah.
pulls it out. That would be fucking crazy if I like ate a tablespoon of salt and then died of heart failure immediately. It's just not a practical evolution for humans at all. The
It
entire
doesn't
like
feel
Indian
practical.
spice trade would have failed in a day if that's how our digestion would have worked.
Oh, man. Well, now we're kind of moving into medical topics about bugs. Gonna shift gears a little bit further into this. Typically, do bugs when they reproduce, do they have any fear or issues with STDs? Is that a problem in the bug community?
Um, I don't. I have no idea. I would. This is such a crazy question. I No, I can't imagine they do because like all right, so they're like a simple species, right? So I'm gonna let's just use logic on this because I have no idea. I'll be honest. I'm not an
Let's give it a try.
epidemiologist, and especially not one for not a. I'm not the most specific epidemiologist in the world, which only focuses on arthropods. Um, but they can be carriers of certain things. So, like for instance, like mosquitoes are able to carry malaria, but you don't like if malaria directly impacted them, they would die. Like you could be a host, like that argument can be made, but that's not really how the it's not like how the virus passes. So as far as I know, nothing can actually pass. There's very few diseases that can actually be passed from arthropod to human. The unfortunate part is just they're all the ones that you dislike the most, like ticks and mosquitoes and things like that. But because not because the creature did it, but because the parasite, or I'm sorry, the virus or parasite did it. Um, but no, I don't know if there's any STDs. But my theory is that there really couldn't be because if they did, like there's a shit ton of them, right? And like imagine if we had like a even something basic like an HIV for like mosquitoes, which I think is actually a similar concept. The guy that was like, "Hey, what if we just gave mosquitoes STDs and they couldn't pass things on?" Which I think is what they did essentially in Florida. I would assume that based on how many generations can pass so quickly, that you would wipe the entire species out very quickly. So I think because of the evolution, they probably don't have the ability to. But if they did, my theory would be that, or my hypothesis would be that they would die pretty quickly because, like with us, we have a kid, and like a whole generation of humans takes like 100 years. Theirs can be within like a very, very short amount of time. I mean, I've got isopods that have been in like 15 to 20 generations within a couple months. So I would say no, but I could be wrong.
So, are you saying that bugs are evolving at a much faster rate than other species typically?
Yeah, in fact, I don't remember who the scientist was. So we had Darwinism, and then we had another person that was using sand fleas, and we were able to identify that when a female sand flea immediately is attacked, that it would,
Mhm.
if it survived it, that the babies would have this like little spiky head. So they will evolve both on a micro level, but on a macro level as well. So like they can evolve very, very quickly because like you can go through 12 generations in like a couple years, depending on the species. Like a tarantula and things like that are a little bit longer, but yeah, they're evolving constantly. I mean, they have to evolve to keep up with everything because like their predator prey is still there. Like we kind of not we haven't stopped evolving, but we're not being like chased by birds. Which would man,
Right.
it'd be a way cooler day if like your biggest concern was the fucking birds again, man. They chased me for 6 blocks. But yeah, they evolve consistently because they're dying a lot more than we are. So they have to evolve in the arms race of whatever animals.
Wow. I guess so because so does that just mean that like the further up the food chain you are, the slower you have to evolve?
Um, I mean, I would imagine, right? Because evolution is death. You don't like evolve if you don't die. So when you evolve, you have to pass on your genes, and that's how evolution works. So like you could like let's say for instance, like tomorrow you had like a really cool like sixth thumb that shot lasers out of you. If you were able to pass that on, then and then your offspring continue to have the lasers, that would be pretty awesome, right? But
Yeah.
if you're selective breeding, like you have a child and then that child has a child, it would take like a lot of generations before like laser sixth fingers became like the primary thing. But now let's in that scenario where the birds are eating us all the time, if that laser finger acted as a way to kill the birds immediately, you would be passing on your genes. So like laser finger equals success would mean passing on those genes. So to your point, if you're an apex predator, you're not losing all the time. So because of that, you're not passing on your genes as much. So like that's for instance like wisdom teeth for some groups, like they don't have them because they died. And then, like modern dentistry saved us from dying all of the time because of like wisdom teeth impaction and things like that. So yeah, I would say ultimately if you are an apex predator, you don't have the need to evolve as fast because there's nothing, but then again, certain things, which also means lethal alleles are being passed on. So if you're an apex predator, like a human being that has an issue, you could continue to pass on things that actually make you weaker as a species over time and then force you to no longer be the apex predator. That is my very basic understanding of ecology. So my apologies.
Yeah. I was thinking less about dying and more about fucking, and we're more than 30 seconds in, so I can use the F word,
Yeah, we
ladies and
can now.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew. It's time for the mature segment of the video.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because it's more about fucking than it is about dying. Because you can't really propagate the species. Like, if, in other words,
Yep.
if humans reproduced as much as mosquitoes did, even at the same length of life, would they evolve more quickly?
Well, we're a very complex creature, so we wouldn't be as complex if we evolved as fast, or if we were able to breed as fast. It takes a lot. Like you'll notice the more
If I
complex
did it.
organisms, they take a really long time to grow. With the exception of arthropods, only because even though they're complex looking, like let's use mantids, they
Mhm.
look complex, but they're not complex in compared to like lungs. Like lungs are huge. Like we don't think about it day to day, but like we don't have a tracheal system where like we're forced, like a spider has been over my shoulder this whole time and they don't move like ever because they're not using any air if they can avoid it. Whereas like me and you can just like laugh and joke and fuck around because we can have the ability to like actually aerate our own lungs. So to back to your point, but in your hypothetical, if we were able to breed, so let's magic one, we hit it, we're all the same, but we were able to breed faster than bugs, that would be a real problem. Like for serious reasons, because depending on the type of I went from 10 dairy cow isopods to like 700 dairy cow isopods in like 6 months. So we would become
Wow.
overpopulated very quickly because if we're using the same logic, then we're also we're we're also keeping our intellect, which means like I could have a child today and he would be like a 45 year old man like in like 3 weeks from now. And he'd be like, hey, this problem that I had 2 weeks ago, help me solve it. So like we would already be in space. Like we would have taken over galaxies at this point.
That would be really crazy.
Yeah, because you wouldn't need to do any, like if you had the ability to like procreate rapidly like arthropods do, but have human intellect, you wouldn't
Mhm.
need to worry about things like how are we going to get to other planets? We need to have this, this, and this. It would be like throw bodies at it. We can breed today and have babies that can pilot it in 3 weeks from now. Let's just keep solving this problem. There would be people
What
whose whole job is that.
It would be but that would be also so hectic, I think, for humans because
Oh,
they'd be
it
like, "Fuck, you have to, like, gonna be an adult in, like, 3 weeks, and you have to have a job."
right. You think you're
Like, you're
stressed
just
now?
constantly
I got
yeah,
4
you're
years
just
till I'm
constantly
40, and
having
I'm,
to
like, worried
run.
about that now, but if I was like that, I'd be like, "I'm gonna be 40 in 12 seconds. I just wasted all that time."
I'm gonna be 40 in 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be insane. I think do you think oh, this is a kind of interesting question. Do you think because their life cycles are so long that they don't have long enough to get as smart as we do? Is the
No,
length
I
of
think it's
time of
because
our
they don't have the
lifetime
thinky parts. They don't have
well,
brains
maybe
like we
they
do.
would. No, of
No, they would.
course.
Well,
I
oh,
mean
I see what you're saying. So this is an interesting picture you've just
more
painted.
like intellect than I mean brain power. I mean, to
So
some level.
so let's assume that all creatures can evolve at the same rate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, let's
okay.
say.
Then that would we would lose in the evolution arms race. We would lose hard because
Ooh, who did we lose
we're
to?
every well termites first, but ants. No, maybe ants first. It would basically be the termite versus ant war that we would all just be secondary to, followed by everything else. We are so useless compared to all other arthropods. Like they yeah, we would 100% die. Like there's nothing, maybe grass, no, because grasshoppers, because I'm assuming like everything has evolved. Now it has thinky parts and it doesn't have the little shitty brainstem that they have.
Yeah.
We don't excel at anything except for stamina. That's the only thing we have. And compared to something that doesn't need stamina. Now the problem that they have is that they would have to eat like a lot if they were our size, and the oxygen would be a problem. So like they would have to solve that. There's like a lot of problems they'd have to fix first. But I'm using your magic wand scenario. We would fail. We would we would
But
die
the
to
termites,
everything.
you're saying the termites are the particular species that got the tech to that point? Like, they invented the
Well, I'm
iPhone
thinking
first?
in terms of what is it, like 12 pounds or a pound or whatever it is of termites per person. Now add each one of those has the intellect of a human being. Like we're
Okay, wait, wait,
screwed.
wait. Do they have the intellect of a human being, but they're the size of termites?
If they're the same, we're still screwed. If any, if any of the
Oh
arthropods
no.
got human intellect and had the ability to think like we do, we're dead. There's no.
But they have to stay their size. That's the only rule.
Yeah, they'll
They can
figure
be
it
as
out.
smart as us, but they can't be bigger.
We went to space, man, and they have so many more of them than we do. So like ants can like a termite can destroy a house. Like like one group can, right? So like if they put their shit aside and we're just like, "Hey, other termite friends, let's just go destroy every building humans have ever made." Like there's like not a single bug I can think of that wouldn't make our life absolute hell if they had the ability to. Like being small wouldn't matter because again, there's so many more of them. Like we have like 7
I think
billion
yeah.
people. Like,
I
so they've got probably
I think
7 billion of one state.
this might be like the new M. Night Shyamalan movie about the termites that are smarter than humans that target the people they attack
Yeah.
specific buildings.
You just
All that
created a better
building just
plot than
collapsed.
all M. Night Shyamalan movies combined, by the way. So
The termites. I don't know what would he call it. Yeah.
how awesome would it be if
So-
like we got wasted by like some really shitty species? Like it wasn't even a cool one. Like just like,
yeah, it's
ah,
gonna be like
damn it, the
ants.
June bugs. They destroyed our civilization. Damn it.
I like getting caught in the middle of two, like getting caught in the middle of the ants versus termites war.
Oh,
Like,
it'd be
oh shit.
terrible.
I thought it was gonna be like, China or Russia. No, it's ants and termites.
Mayflies, they took us out and they only had a season to do it. This sucks.
Chad says there's a book about this already. It's about ants taking over the world, and it's called Morte. Thanks, chat. I had no idea.
Sorry, I'm laughing
Click
at that.
this
Hear me
link
out. What if a
here.
beach made you old? Fuck you. You know that's a movie and it's terrible.
So, on the same vein of health and evolution of the species, this again, if you can believe it, all these questions are at random, and this one's right on theme. Again, submitted by one of our listeners. What effect does radioactivity have on arthropods? Do they get cancer?
I believe that it has the same effect as humans, but they're smaller. And I feel like it's probably so like the last one we talked about like rads and humans versus roaches, and they can withstand more radiation than us. So it would be a case by case basis. I don't I don't know if they get cancer. I think if I had to guess, I don't think there's a single person that's ever studied that because why? Like they don't live long enough for that to matter. And I think oftentimes that's the problem with humans, with the exception of like radiation exposure. But the radiation exposure for humans is typically not the cancer you have to worry about. It's the like melting your cells down pretty much immediately, like if you're close enough, right? Like cancer is a byproduct, but I think it's the change on an epigenetic level, if I understand correctly, of what's actually killing you. Is that it's like your, your like heart is like, and I built ear cells now, so enjoy that. You're like, I did not want that. I wanted heart cells. Go back to what you were doing. So I think with them, it's probably like just straight out kills them if it hits a certain rad. But I don't know. That would be an interesting study to see. I just don't know if anyone's done it in anything besides cockroaches. And I don't know why. I don't even know why we like have done that study, or if we have done that study, or if it's just like a benign thing that someone has said, and now all of us just unanimously agreed to it. Or we're like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, why cockroaches?
I
Like,
my theory
why did
is
they
that
get away free?
we just saw them around like a site that we knew had radiation, and we were just like, oh well, this is really high for humans. This would kill us, but they seem to be doing fine. But like, I don't know if there's been like long term case studies on it. Like there probably is. I could probably Google this and find out. But my theory is that like it's just probably it's like a sink or swim for them, whereas like we live
Hmm.
longer, we have more complex cells. So my theory is that they would probably just die. They would hit like a diminishing return and then be dead.
Yeah. I thought it was maybe because also too, don't roaches live for how long do they typically live? Like hundreds of years?
A couple of them can live several years. The bigger the roach, like
That's a little off.
not hundreds,
As many
but
as 7 years.
I,
Just
the
not even.
the longest roach I think lives like 3 years, but I could be wrong on that one. I think it's like 3
Yeah,
years
I
is
was
like the
off by a lot.
max. Yeah, it's quite a bit off.
I
But
didn't mean to be that far off.
the average roach I think lives most arthropods live like very short amount of times. The less complex the creature though, they will tend to live a little bit longer. Because like tarantulas will live like some of them will live for like 20 years, but it's just because a tarantula is basically a there's not a lot going on there. It's a very simple creature. And it hasn't evolved in like 6 million years or something. So
You think they would because they have plenty of offspring.
well, they do, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And it goes back to the evolution thing. Like if they're passing on certain genes, but those genes are working. So like why you don't need to evolve because it's going to be, and also because to your point, if they're laying like 400 babies, like a lot of the species that lay like a lot of eggs, there's a reason for that, and it's because like want the greatest success chance of passing on their genes because it's genetic immortality that they're essentially looking for. Um, so I don't think they really
Spiders in
need to.
particular?
Everything. That's what all life is. We're all trying to just pass on our genes. That's all life is. I know that's really sad and dark, but that's all it is, guys. Like once you get
Yeah.
past that, it's all easy from there. So
Spiders, man.
spiders.
You know, in the 90s movie The Mummy, there were scarabs running under skin and eating brains, and they were also old as fuck. Any truth there?
To all of that or all, which part?
That
The
is
old part or
again
the
almost as if this is like a scripted show, and this really isn't. This next question is about the immortality of scarabs.
they're not immortal. In fact, they're
Okay.
very mortal. They don't live a long time in general. Yeah, scarabs
Could they run
will
around under your skin? Is that a thing they
no,
do?
not while you're alive. They can't. No, no. They will eat shit. Like different scarabs will eat meat, but they won't. You have to be like the slowest, weakest person alive for them to like eat you alive. Like you would. I guess they could like poison you with something. Like not them, but like someone could poison you with something. And like if you were immobile and you're
Yeah.
maybe had like wounds or something, they could start eating you. But no, but they
Garrett
can eat
had a
meat and all
gun.
that. Yeah, that'd be way easier than doing any of that. But yeah, they will. There are carnivorous scarabs. There's also a lot of scarabs are dung beetles too. So like they'll eat proteins in the feces and make poop homes. Sorry, they're not sexy creatures. I don't know what to tell you. But no, are they immortal? No, that would be crazy. Also, that movie is so ridiculous because like they basically, I mean, they're magic, right? But they're like they devoured them in like seconds. Like, oh yeah, like Otto said, they're magic mummy scarabs. Like, dude, if scarabs could eat people, again, it goes back to the like what species would wipe us out. If scarabs could eat somebody that quickly, humans would never have survived. Like, there would be no way. Like, ah, shit, it's scarab season again. Let's flee into our like chambers or something because we'd all be dead. Sorry, guys.
A lot of hopeful. There's a lot of hope in the questions today. That's also part of the theme of the questions.
They're like,
Hope.
please tell me they're real. Like, no, I don't. Why would I tell you that there's like real magic scarabs?
On a similar trend here, next question for you, Juice. If you could create a new bug-related superhero, which bug would you like to see, and what kind of powers and skills would it have?
Damn, that's a really good question. So what sucks is my favorite superhero already has them. Uh, Spider-Man's obviously the best one.
That's Spider-Man. But if you were to create a
Yeah, yeah.
brand new
I
superhero,
know. Superhero or supervillain?
I would probably, I mean, every hero is someone's villain.
That's deep, man. um, let's let's see. Fleas would be pretty crazy. Like if I could have all the superpowers of a flea, that would be pretty amazing.
What would they?
First, you
Well, what would powers and skills be that they'd have?
just super jump. Like I could just jump across the city and like it wouldn't matter. I don't know how often jump related tasks would come up as a superhero, but I'm gonna find out. That would be pretty
Probably
awesome.
a lot of the time. I think you probably jump in even when you don't need to, just because it's so available to you.
Well, now let's really dig into this onion. They're also like crazy
Mm-hmm.
hardy, right? Like if you ever try to smash a flea,
Yeah.
it's like freaking impossible. So you'd be kind of a badass, and like if you were getting beaten too bad, you're just like peace, and then you just like jump away. But imagine like the kicks. Like if you can jump that high, you could kick
And
the
you can kick
shit
hard.
out of somebody. Like, yeah, go ahead, fight me. I'll just beat you with my legs. Yeah, I'm gonna go with flea. Super villain though. I'm going with I'm going with a velvet worm.
Ooh, what's its name? The Velvet Worm?
The velvet worm? No, that's
That'd be their name.
the
No, what
the
would be their
superhero
superhero name?
name is cooler. Huh? Oh, the
What would be the
super
name? Or
I'm
sorry,
just
what would be
going
the villain's name?
I'm just going with velvet worm. Because then like no
Ooh,
one's gonna be
Velvet
afraid
Worm.
of someone named the velvet worm. Isn't it funny how much cooler of like a superhero or supervillain name it is if you pronounce it the velvet worm versus like a velvet worm? Matters.
Yeah.
Matters.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
know.
because they oh man, can we look up the velvet worm real quick?
Yeah, can we
Can you just look up how cute this thing is? And then I'm going to tell you
okay.
about it after I show you how cute it is because it's necessary. Sorry,
Velvet
guys.
Worm.
Not to completely derail the show, but it's crucial you understand
Well,
how cute this thing is.
we're gonna pull it up. We're gonna it's gonna get a little airtime here. Here we go. We got the Velvet Worm.
No, that's not it. There we go. That's
That?
it. Yeah, they're really, really, they look like a cute little bunny. They look adorable. Look at that. Yeah, see how the middle one where it's got the goofy little eyes and it looks like it's sleeping. That one, yeah. Look at that. You look at that and you're like, oh, it's so cute. Like you just want to kiss it. Like it's just, yeah. Look at that time. The voracious eaters of the undergrowth. Oh, snipers. My bad. Yeah,
Snipers. They're
they're super
snipers?
cute. Yeah. So they shoot. See the little
Wow.
the things that look like eyes to you? So, like, look at the
Yeah.
there's no way yeah, they look like eyes. They're little things that I'm very good at demonstrating this. They shoot out a viscous liquid that just
Hmm.
solidifies once it hits something. I don't even know if it solidifies. It
Yeah,
basically it
look, you
hits
can
you.
look,
Yeah, yeah, there we go. And it sticks you to the ground. Like, you're just roped. There's nothing. Once it hits you, you're dead.
it's
And
shooting
then
rope.
yeah, you're just frozen in spot. You're glued to the spot. There's nothing you can do. And now you have the slowest moving horror thing that is gonna very well, it's not slow to a bug, but like to us, it's like a slow moving creature that's gonna very slowly walk over to you. And then, as if that wasn't crazy enough, it has one giant dagger face that's gonna just keep slicing into you. And as it's doing that, it's injecting you full of venom, and as it's punching this venom into you, it's liquefying your insides to whatever it's eating, and then just like sucking you up like a slushy. So it's going to put its little mouth hole over top of the wound, and it's going to keep carving you out like a horrifying little cup of yogurt. And then it's going to just destroy you like that. No matter what part it started eating, that's the part it started, and it's going to continue onward until you're dead. So, yeah, when it comes to villains, it's the most adorable, horrifying creature that's ever existed. And your face, it's yeah, exactly. They would probably hurt a
Good.
lot if it bit you. It yeah, it's like a horrifying little cup of yogurt. But yeah, it's gonna eat you and it's gonna melt you down. And then, but the whole time, it's gonna look so damn cute doing it that you're gonna probably be like low key, like, oh, look how cute it is, right up until it begins to eat you.
That's horrible. So, I think you answered that question perfectly. And
What's it like to be on edibles
um,
and hear about this creature for the first time?
I don't like it much. You gotta be honest.
Yeah, Hard
You gotta
Lawrence
be
is
honest.
shook.
It's I yeah. Ooh, oh boy. Um, on the topic of powers and skills, superpowers, what bug power or ability would you like to have?
Uh, okay, I would like the ability to have what monarch butterflies do with the magnetic north. The ability
What's
to
that?
know polarization of everything. I would like that. That would be a practical power that I would like. I would never get lost. I'd be like, fucking north is right there. Where am I going? Name it. It's fine. I got a map. We're good. Essentially, I realized that a compass could also solve that problem. But
Yeah,
like how,
it's gonna blow your mind.
it's gonna blow your mind. You have one on your phone. You can buy them for $1. But I feel
So that's
like
the one you want the most, the one that's very easily obtainable to you now?
all right, fine. I
Think
guess I'll go
bigger,
with
think bigger.
flying. Yeah. Okay. So then probably the monarch butterfly's ability to fly long distances. I would say that's more. I'm afraid of heights, so this would be kind of a pointless power for me. But I think I'd be less afraid if I had the ability to freaking fly.
Why would you be less afraid of heights because you could fly? I feel like I'd be more afraid because I'm up there more often.
Oh, no. Well, no, because you're not really afraid of the heights. You're afraid of the falling, and you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well,
You're not
yeah,
falling
but
anymore, right?
but you could accidentally stop flying, get a cramp, and fall out of the air. What I'm saying is you're not falling most of the time when you're on the ground.
I I feel for me, it's never with my fear of heights. It's like the vertigo of like, oh my god, I could fall. But if I knew like I could fly, I feel like I could work past that fear. There's no like easy way to get past a fear of heights. You know, like how they do like the what's that shit where they just like you don't like centipedes? Here's a centipede and hold it like the exposure therapy. There's no
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
height
yeah.
exposure therapy. There's no like safe way to be like you could bring people to like high places, but it's still like, yeah, motherfucker, but I can still fall out of this building. So like, whereas like if you had that
Well,
ability, you could just kind of keep going up. Like I'm at 6 feet, I'm at 10 feet, I'm at 15. Like you would just slowly get over that. I would be the
but
lamest soup like person though, because I would be flying at a consistent like 8 feet all the time. People were like, "There's Juice again." He could just drive a car, but he chooses instead to fly at the lamest height possible known to man.
that's it. Okay, so there's two things I like about this. One is the idea that, like, yeah, if you had the ability to fly, but you could only go, like, 8 feet off the ground and not much faster than you're walking, if you would always do that impractically, like, instead of taking the car, you're
Yeah,
just like, "I'm gonna fly there because I can do that."
I would
Like,
always
"But
fly.
it's gonna take twice as long. I'm gonna be at the restaurant before you." "Yeah, I know, but I can do this." And
Right. But
just
also, like, think of how because like as the crows flies is such a faster
yeah.
route, right? So like even if you can go 60 miles an hour, but you got to take some asinine path. Like I mean, in
Yeah.
California especially, like dude, there's like times where it's just like, why can't I just go straight? You know, you're going through like mountains or foothills or whatever. You could just fly at like 4 miles an hour. Well, like how fast can a human run? Like a normal human, not like
2
Usain Bolt or
miles
some
an
shit.
hour, 3 miles an hour, maybe?
Way more than that.
Yeah,
Run?
am I way off?
You can walk yeah, you can walk at like 2 miles an hour. Does
Yeah,
it take you flat? Yeah, I understand your state isn't flat, but at the same time, yeah, I think you could probably run more than 2 miles an hour. Like, you can do 2-mile walk in more than an hour.
I don't know, I can, but I
We're being
guess.
we're
I
being
don't never
told
really
5
thought
or
it out.
6 miles an hour. Let's use that as our basis,
Yo,
which
you can
means
run, okay, but I'm never running anywhere. What I'm saying is I'm walking or I'm not.
but can you man, you just this has nothing to do with bugs at this point. We've completely
I'm not
veered off
Well, I'm
track.
saying is I'm not gonna be running to a restaurant. I'm walking to a restaurant at best, or I drove, just to be clear.
In your scenario, though, can I fly my butterfly flight at like a running pace, or am I only stuck at my speed of walking?
I think you're slower than yeah, it's actually slower than walking.
Then I think I would still fly because I could. People would be so
Yeah,
annoyed by
that's what I'm
that.
saying.
Like it would be so you're like, why would I do that? I can like see the view and enjoy shit, you know? Like I'm not in a
Yeah,
hurry. I could
like,
fly, man. I could make money off that so easy. You could just rob people and then be the slowest runaway ever. They're like, it's the guy flying away with my money. I'm like, peace, bitch.
I'm just 8 feet off the ground, you could catch me with a net.
They're like, bullets exist. I'm like, don't worry about it. Shoot me,
But
asshole.
I do think if you had to if you had the ability to fly, I don't think it would necessarily make you not afraid of heights because think about, like, when you're really tired of doing something, like going on a hike or riding your bike, and you can kinda stop, you're not falling out of the air. And so, like, if you're like,
You're
"Oh,
not wrong.
man, I'm really fucking tired now," and you're like, "Shit, I'm 12 feet off the ground right now."
Not,
Like,
not to continue too long on this segment because it's completely lost its train of thought for bugs.
well, it's
But I
about
love how
butterflies.
in your scenario of flight, it's not Superman style. It's I have to flap my arms.
Oh, yeah, you have to flap your arms. I'm
The
sorry, was that
lamest.
not clear?
No, it was
Was
not.
that not cl that
No.
wasn't clear from your monarch butterfly requirements?
well, well, yeah, but now
They don't glide.
what you've created is now it's a power I'd never use because I don't even lift weights as a human. You think I'm gonna fucking fly if I have to flap my arms all the time? It's
No, but,
just
like, it's
not
fine,
gonna
right?
happen.
Because your arms are strong enough to just work, so you fly effortlessly in that sense.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I'm
not it's
thinking
not
like I gotta
work.
really give my giant
No,
ass
no, no, no,
body
no.
a lift.
No,
Dude,
you just
screw
gotta
this.
assume yeah, you gotta assume it just works, like dream
Oh,
style.
okay. Well, that's way better. I'll do that. I was like, dude, if I
Yeah,
gotta
okay,
work for it,
okay.
I'm not doing it ever.
They'll be like, "Oh, Juice could fly, but he never does.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the
Like he's
only
like the
human that can
lamest
fly."
potential superhero.
Yeah. Like, one person on the planet has the ability to fly, and they're too lazy to do it, and they're just like,
Like you
"Should
could
we
save
study
him from
them?"
falling off the building. Nah, bro, it's like 50 feet. I'm
Nah,
not doing that
nah.
shit.
Yeah, like, we're like, "I feel like we should be doing science and studying this." Like, "Nah, I know.
He's lazy. He's not gonna
Not
do
for
it.
not for me."
He doesn't even go to the doctor unless he has to. He's not gonna do this.
Alright, it's now time for, Otter, I'm gonna give you a little space here to do a cut transition. We're gonna do a secret segment. So there's gonna be some I know that there's a lot of effort to do the crazy graphics, so I made one, for my secret segment, which I'm going to broadcast now, so it's time for our secret segment. What's this
God,
bug? Oh, wait a sec. What's this bug? Alright, Juice,
I'm not gonna know, but it's fine. Let's go.
here's how this segment works. I went to reddit.com. It's the homepage of the internet, and they have a whole subreddit dedicated to this question. What's this bug? And they provide some kind of photo, some kind of graphic, and everybody tries to guess what it is, and they figure out if they get the right answer.
How detailed do I have to
So
be?
I think I don't have a bar here for that.
Okay.
I'm thinking as detailed as you want to be, and we can do a trial one just so we can get the experience. But what I'm going to do is I'm going
Just
to show
wing
you a
it.
picture.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a picture, and you're going to do your best to define the most accurate name of what the bug is.
Okay.
All right. So, do you accept this
I
challenge?
do. I have to move the chat for Twitch somewhere. Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
Now, let's play. What's that bug? All right. Our first bug, Juice. This
The
one.
gummy worm.
Okay. You got it. That was your first question and answer.
Nice.
It's a gummy bug.
Yeah.
We lock it in.
Lock it in.
Yes, it's a gummy worm. All right. So
Nailed
now
it.
everybody kind of gets how the game works. All right. Now let's move on to our next question.
That is a photoshopped spider mite.
Ooh, why do we say photoshopped? What's wrong with it?
Because I've never in my life seen a spider mite that big.
See, how big is it? That's pretty large.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a Photoshop picture.
Okay. Photoshop picture of a mite.
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna find out it's real, and I'm gonna want this thing so bad.
actually, that's the sound of the wrong answer. That is actually what's known as a velvet mite.
Oh, well, it's a mite, right? But it's not, they're not that big.
Well, that one's pretty big.
I think that's Photoshop.
Well, we're going to pull it up real fast here.
Yeah, look up the size of a velvet mite. It says 12 millimeters. How big is that? How big is that?
This is 4 millimeters in length. 12 may reach up to 12 millimeters.
How much is that in inches?
Hey Siri, how many is 12 millimeters in inches? 0.47 inches, so almost half an inch.
Yeah, that motherfucker is photoshopped like crazy. Look at that person's hand again.
Ah!
I actually don't know what that thing is, and I've seen it before. I have no clue. Sorry to ruin that for you. I have no idea
this
what the fuck
one?
that is. I have no clue. Is that a bug?
No clue. That's a bug.
That is a bug?
That is a bug.
That thing is horrifying looking.
Yeah, I mean, your velvet worm story was pretty scary, but this...
I kind of want one.
Well, this is the Eulegacia gigantea.
You made that so Spanish. It's
right.
Latin, my man. Oh, it's got a proboscis?
Latin. It's got a proboscis. Look at it go.
Wait, it has teeth and a proboscis?
Oh, yeah. It's got it all. Look at this
Where the
monster.
hell does that thing live?
That's 5 centimeters right there.
Oh, it's in the water. That's fucking crazy. The ocean is filled with horrors. Look up bobbit worm.
Bobbit worm.
Yeah.
Oh. This just looks like it's some kind of monster you can fight in Mario.
Go ahead and X that out. Watch the bobbit worm video. Just hover over it. Yeah, there you go. Just give that a look. Just watch.
Oh.
Just a nice surround sound of a quiet ocean. The bobbit worm sits below the surface with bone-hard grappling hooks. Oh my god, get to the point, Smithsonian. Yeah, it's long.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's long as fuck. Yeah, it's really big, by the way. There's been a lot of people that have had like coral reefs in their like aquatic, like their saltwater tank. And they notice that their like fish are just dying and they don't know what the hell happened to it. It's because there was a bobbit worm that was part of it. And then it would sneak inside the coral and then it would do this and they would just start eating all their fish.
What the hell?
Get to the point,
happening?
damn it. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the segment of Juice's Arthropods where Derek is stoned enough to watch a video on live stream about the bobbit worms. So there we go.
Oh, look at him go.
Oh yeah, just wait till he catches something. He'll snap it in half. Like
yeah,
there we go.
Missed it.
Don't have eyes or a brain, and yet no brain, no thinky parts, and yet they caught a fish. That just goes to show you what stupid fish are. This one, you found the only no. You found the only bobbit worm that can't catch a fish, Derek. How did you manage this in this video?
God, how does it have a brain? What's controlling it?
Autonomic nervous system, I guess. I don't know. There's
Why
lots
does
of
the nervous system want fish to die?
Because it has to eat. There we go. Got it.
Oh
no. It's gone. Fish is gone.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just in the ocean. You know, the thing that you guys just actively swim in out here for no fucking reason. No big deal. Just waiting for you to bring your little toesies right into the water. Hope you enjoy that.
Oh wait, though, this is going to be interesting.
Let's move on from the bobbit worm. Don't you have 2 more of these?
No, there's going to be a blowfish attack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a fight of the ages. What will happen?
It's gonna die, Derek. That's what's gonna happen.
No way. No, I don't know, man. The pufferfish might get away.
No, it's dead. Yeah, it's gone.
Fuck. Dude, that is fucked up.
Yeah.
This is like no way.
This is a 30-minute video, just so we're clear.
It is? No. It's a 3-minute video.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Oh, even
Dude,
even this octopus is screwed. Oh, there's a
this
rockfish?
is
What
this
the hell is
this
this?
is like what Dune came up for was is this how they came up with Dune? Look at that.
Yeah, probably. No, actually, I think Dune was based off of antlion larva.
How the hell okay, this is just insane.
Yeah.
How long do they have does it take them to digest this?
Um, I don't know. Probably a minute, but
Wow, that
oh
was
wow.
redonkulous. All right. Well, you blew through all my pictures already. So there's that one, that one.
Yeah, I don't
All
know
right, I
what that
got
was.
one last one. And this one was actually submitted by my beautiful wife, Emily, who wanted specifically this was actually what started the idea for this segment. Someone didn't have a chance to take a picture of the bug, so they drew a picture of the bug and they
Oh,
were trying
good.
to figure out what it was that they saw. And now from you seeing this picture, perhaps you'll be able to help us figure out what this could be. And I'm genuinely curious if you can get this.
Okay.
So let's play. What's this bug? All right. There it is.
What the fuck? Black body, kind of chunky, yellow white butt, about this long, slowish flying, sort of like a bee. Doesn't seem like jumping like a flying roach. Black body, kind of. Well, the face is definitely helping me with this.
Yeah, I thought it might.
Was it a? It's sort of like a bee, but it's not a bee. Do I get clues, or do I just have to use
This
this shitty drawing?
it says it's slowish flying, sort of like a bee. So it wasn't very fast.
How in the
What
shit
I'm
am
hearing.
I supposed to guess this? Yellow
Sort of
and white
visualize it in your
butt.
mind.
So it's not a bee, but it's
Okay.
slow like a bee, correct?
Yes.
Who is
Slow
answering this?
flying like
How
a
do we
bee.
did we look this up? Do we know what it is?
Let me double check. I think I do know what this is.
Okay.
I mean, of course I do. I can edit that part out.
Okay. Can I trust you to answer questions that I ask? because because this has less information than I
Sure.
could even get off of like an iNaturalist website. Like there's no way. You're asking me to determine a 3-inch bug with a yellow and white butt that flies. Like that's what you've asked me to do.
And a black body. You're missing a lot of the clues. Also notice it didn't seem jumpy like a flying roach.
What the hell is a flying roach?
Important clues. These are just the clues we have.
Okay, cool. Okay, so is it a beetle? So it's a black body.
Um,
Because what you drew,
I don't believe it is.
what you drew is a metapod with wings. So I don't know any information about this. There's no way to guess this. It's like the time someone showed me a grub and asked me
Oh.
what beetle does this become. Like there's no fucking way to know.
Now, what makes you believe it's a metapod?
Because it looks like a metapod and you drew a little thing at the bottom. The little segmented. You've made it almost like a caterpillar with wings.
Interesting. Caterpillar with wings.
Yeah, which would be a butterfly, right? So is it a butterfly? Because that's the only thing I can think of. It's a black with yellow white butterfly.
Chat, does anyone have any other clues or suggestions they want to chip in? Believe it or not, I think you're getting closer.
Okay, black body, kind of chunky. It's slow, like a bee, so like a bumblebee. Yellow and white butt. About this long. Looks like a butterfly, but isn't. So I don't know. I'm gonna overthink the shit out of this. There's no way for you to guess this.
You've pictured in your mind. You're very close, I think. Closer than you think.
My final guess. Black body. Yeah, I'm gonna say bumblebee. Final answer.
Bumblebee.
Oh, damn it. It's going to be a...
No, it's
Oh.
the clear wing hummingbird moth.
Oh,
Of course.
sure.
But you were very close. I gotta say, you were like I think you were in the ballpark. And I don't actually know for sure that that is exactly what this person's describing,
Oh,
but
you
it's
can't tell? Weird.
it's plausible. It's plausible. I mean, it's a hexapod, and you were going toward a butterfly, and I was like, well, it's more like a moth, probably.
Oh, okay.
But you were in the right ballpark. I mean, overall, that was impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
That
I'm
is
glad
that
that I
has been
can...
our secret segment. What is this bug?
I like that because I didn't know what the hell that one thing was, and then we found out that it's a water bug, and I don't know shit about water bugs. Other than I don't have...
Why do you not know much about water bugs? Are they not part of the arthropod? Are they different in some way?
They're in water.
But like,
No,
is
I...
that's off limits for you? You got to keep it all on land. Like, what do you mean?
No, I just don't have a lot of experience with them. I didn't grow up in like a coastal place. So, like the closest water we had was like a river. Um, I know some aquatic insects and arthropods, but I don't know a lot of them because there's a lot, man. Especially like when you get to like the ocean shit, where it's just like, bro, I don't know anything. Once it touches ocean, I'm dead. My knowledge ends there. I also don't know
Why are you?
gastropods. I saw someone earlier was saying something about them. Like, I genuinely don't know anything about gastropods. They're a whole other beast.
So then, of the bugs that you do know about,
Mhm.
which bug would be the best at skateboarding?
Millipedes.
Now, millipedes and why?
They have like a shit ton of legs, like 230 some legs. Their center of gravity is really good. That's the why for me. Okay, I'm gonna pick two options. I'm gonna
Okay.
say a millipede because they have a lot of legs and they are able to move them all. I trip over my own two legs like all the time. like I will trip. Just I broke my literal ankle hiking with you. So like, not great with the two I've got. Um Millipedes have like some species have like 237 some legs. Like there's a lot of legs that they manage to move, but they move them in like front back, front back. Like they kind of like wave, like it'll look like they're doing a wave. It's like they'll trickle across. So I would say millipede for skateboarding because like they have crazy leg control. And they'll do this really cool thing where they can like stand on like very limited legs and kind of like they do like almost like a whale breach, like and then they kind of like slam into the ground to knock some mites off. So great center of balance. Beyond them, I would say uh, probably mantids because they
Hmm.
also have like they can like hang on like crazy surfaces and then like eat a whole ass hummingbird and like still stay there, and that's fascinating to me. Like they have the ability to like grip like I've never seen. So I imagine they would probably be pretty good at skateboarding too. But
Now, is there a distinction between a mantis and a mantid?
it's yes. So mantids, I could be 100% wrong on this. My understanding is mantids would encompass all of them. A mantis would be one, and mantises would be plural of one type. So I think it's like fish versus fishes.
Really?
Yeah,
So it's really just like it's a pluralization of mantis?
yeah. Because if I say mantids, I'm referring to multiple. So I'm like, hey, there's types of mantids. Like mantids would be multiple types. Where if I say mantis, it's one, and if I say mantises, I could be like, oh, look at those mantises. I mean, like a couple of the same ones, or just a couple. But mantids would be the group.
But if you had a bunch of mantises in a group, you'd be like, look at all those mantids.
Yes.
I did not know that. I thought there was maybe some other distinction there, like a big one.
Like I don't think you like I don't believe you'd be wrong. Like if you had three mantises and you said, look at those mantids, you'd still be fine because mantids is the the group itself. Like you're not wrong in saying look at those fish because fish is plural, right? So you're fine with that. So I don't think it
Yeah.
matters. So I think mantid is fine all the time. Like because you can also say mantid Like you can be like, look at that mantid and mean one. So I think you're just kind of always good. I think you're solid.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was like, I don't know.
Oh, there's definitely a scientific reason. I just don't know it because that's where
Oh,
you
okay.
get into clades and orders and species, and then that's where I lose.
But I guess if I get a pass from the pedantic semantic, then I'm as good as gold.
Yeah, yeah. You're good.
On the topic of mantids, specifically the praying mantis. Now, am I using that correctly? That's a type of mantid.
They're all called that, but yeah, continue.
Are there any that are not praying?
No, they just call them praying mantids for
Why do
whatever
they
reason.
call them that?
Because common names are stupid. They have totally different names than that, but just people call them praying mantis because they have the hook arms. Remember we were talking about how like they have
Yeah.
their arms
Yeah.
fold out, so people just call them that. Common names are bizarre.
So, like, who do you just get to pick one? Like, when do you get the distinction of a common name to be accepted? Like, do you get to find it first? Can you
I
rename a
I
bug?
just think assholes get to pick. Well, okay, so there's two answers to this. So like you can you're like the first one to like have a species, you get to define the Latin name, and I think you also get to define like the common species specific name. But then you have commonality where people just eventually start calling things shit. You know, like perfect example, like right now, people constantly call just like every brown spider a brown recluse. Like they just decided to do that, even though it's incorrect. So I think it boils down to whatever the nomenclature that the commonality is using. But people, when they do define a new species, they will have a Latin name, and then they will get to kind of pick the common name. Like Halloween hissers, for an example,
Yeah.
they're Elliptorina
Selling today at
javanica.
Juice's Arthropods.
Yes,
You know
Elliptorina
holiday hissers? Oh,
javanica.
over wait, we're gonna stop talking to each other. I'm gonna put this in Otter, just cut in this little ad for me.
There you
Wait,
go.
holiday hissers? You mean like at Juice's Arthropods? They're on sale now, right?
Yes, exactly. Halloween hissers exclusively at Juice's Arthropod. Elliptorina,
And if
but
you use this promo code here for $80 off your first Halloween hisser. That's a
don't
lot off.
cost
That's
$80.
probably too much. But just
I'm just paying them at this point to have them.
yeah, put right here one free holiday hisser if you the first 100 callers.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, exactly. You got to do some homework to get my phone number. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, so like for them, they call them Halloween hissers, but their Latin names Elliptorina javanica. So like you have a common name that's being used, but then like some people will just call them some other shit. They'll just come up with
What
shit.
do the Halloween hissers do? What do they do every other month of the year? They're just really sad. They're like, it's just not my time.
They're, they're called the left behinds. They just like they, oh, you know what they do? They just eat all of that trash candy corn that no one else will eat because it's garbage.
Oh,
They add a lot to society. They're really taking one for the team there.
do you think? Yeah, like maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. Like maybe the Halloween hissers just hate Halloween. They're like,
Oh
no, I
man,
hate that holiday.
fucking holiday. We never wanted to be called that. We had a sweet Latin name, and now people just call us random shit. Um, yeah, I don't know why. Like, I understand that because they're orange and black, and so like I understand why they call them that. But like, I don't like when people reduce a thing into like them's some hissers. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes it sound real
Them's
uneducated.
Halloween hissers. So, speaking of mantids, we were talking
Yes,
about them earlier, and we mentioned that they're all praying.
sure.
Is the way that we refer to them by their common name, by their God's given name. Um, speaking of God, what religion would the praying mantises be praying to?
Ooh, I'm not a not a religious man. What isn't there? Isn't there like a deity in like the Hindu religion that is like a god of death, right? And like
Yeah, I believe there is.
thinking
I'm
like
confused. Chat
Gilgamesh or
is
something like that. Collie,
That is
yes.
mad about something I said. I don't know what I said. Hissers love Halloween. I see. Chat
Okay.
says that Halloween hissers love Halloween, so they're hissing for Halloween. They can't wait. I
Oh,
don't.
can
I
I
don't
be
know. I was
pedantic?
just asking the question. I don't
Can
know.
I be pedantic semantic for a minute?
Yes, please. Wee.
They're gonna hate Halloween. They're gonna hate it a lot because it gets really cold and they're bugs and they'll die. So they're not gonna be a fan of any holiday past like August. Not their
Why
thing.
don't they call them? They should call them Labor Day hissers.
They're
Hey,
called March to August hissers. They're a big
yeah.
fan. Big
Oh, they're
fan.
Valentine hissers.
Yeah, exactly. They are state dependent hissers. Um yeah.
That would
But
be
yeah,
good.
I'm going with
St.
chat. They
Patty's
would
Day hissers.
yeah. I'm gonna go with chat, and their religion is either they love Kali or they are a fan of any deity that would be like death because mantids are fucking brutal. They just whatever they grab, they eat that spot, and that's where they're gonna consume you from. So like if they were to like come up behind you and just like grab you from behind and like start chewing into like your back, that's what they're going to eat. And they're going to continue moving. And then they're going to eat the parts as they fall off. They're going to grab it with the other one, just keep going. So like I've seen them catch like roaches ass first and then they just eat the whole creature from the ass up. And like when you're a bug, you can survive that whole time. Like it's gonna take a minute before you like actually die. So
So okay, so that's the religion you're going with for praying mantises is
yes.
they pray to Kali. Kali?
I don't know, one of those. Does it matter if it's fictional?
I see. I see. Okay. I'm gonna shift gears into a question involving gears. What does a Volkswagen Beetle have in common with a real beetle?
It dies every 3 weeks or so.
Ouch. Burn.
um, it never changed. No one likes it. I have lots of jokes I can make here. There's a whole lot.
A lot of
I'm only doing that to fuck with the person I know asked this question. Okay.
we're losing our very small fan base.
Yeah, exactly. Just lost half of the people watching. Okay, I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna go with the fact that they're very hardy. If I'm basing all of my knowledge on the Volkswagen fucking Beetle on other people who are fans of the Beetle, but based on the facts that they've given me, one very real difference is one of them would not work in the wintertime. But they're a hardy. I mean, they're clearly hardy. They've been around forever. People still have them for whatever reason. So the hardy exterior would be that. They're trusty until they're not. So there's that. I think that's it. I think that's probably it. As far
You
as
saying cockroaches might backstab you if you were in a cockroach crew?
no, cockroaches are pretty chill social creatures. Ultimately,
Well, what did you mean by they're reliable till they're not? Like, what do you mean? Like they're gonna
I was
stab you in the
making a joke
back
more
or?
about the. No, I meant more about the car.
Oh, okay.
Car will fall
Oh.
apart. Um,
I have like a riff on this question I want to ask, which is, what do Volkswagen Beetle owners have in common with a real Beetle? Maybe there's something about the people. Like how it's a Jeep thing. Maybe it's also like
okay. Um, that's a hard question that I can't answer. Someone's feelings. Oh, okay. What did
they
they
fly.
have in common? Despite
They hiss.
advantages over other options, both stay steady with their current path. There we go. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That was nice. That was nice of you.
Yeah.
I
There's
just
your
said they hiss.
horoscope for the day.
That was nice. Juice's horoscope of the day graphic can go right here.
Exactly.
And from a similar sort of comparative background on this question as well. Um, what if you were to define all of the races of Middle Earth as types of bugs, what would they be?
I'm taking these very literally.
Okay.
Dwarves would be the Jerusalem cricket because they're both underground and they're hardy as fuck. I'm gonna say humans are ants because we're warlike and die. Oh, thank you for the list because I was trying to remember them all. Okay, hobbits would be. Shit. Well, they like to eat, right? So I'm gonna. I'm probably gonna make hobbits isopods because they're like legit. They'll just eat anything. Like these things will freaking eat anything. They're hardy. They breed like crazy. They seem happy. They're adorable. Done. Men, ants. Done. Elves. I'm gonna say elves are like spiders because they're kind of they're like in a I don't know. My understanding of elves is they can deal with each other, but they're just like more reclusive. Orcs. Orcs seem to be like mosquitoes. Ints? Oh, ints would be like I don't know, because what is int's whole deal? They're like
They like to get high.
oh, I see. So you're saying because I'm not gonna get into the subset of Tolkien shit. This is if you start saying things like the elves or orcs are descendants of elves, then I've got to have a subset. We're gonna be here all day. So I'm gonna say ints. They're like slow. Let's say ints are like snails. They're just kind of like not in a hurry to do anything, and they're adorable and do their own thing. Eagles are hornets, I guess. I don't know anything about the eagles. Goblins. God, this list is huge. All right, eagles are dragonflies. Goblins are ticks. Wizards, interesting, because I forgot they're a whole race in Lord of the Rings.
Wait, if wizards are a race, does that mean Jedis are a race?
I don't know why wizards are a race. Okay, I'm gonna say wizards are gonna be like a bug that makes a pretty. They're fireflies. There, done, sold. See if I can remember any of those.
Wizards or fireflies? That's all right.
Perfect.
According to chat, wizards were sent by Valar to protect Middle Earth. Question, is Valar a person?
I have no idea.
Or like
I'm
an
I'm a nerd
order?
in a very specific thing, guys. I'm not a nerd in all things. I apologize. I can't I can't keep my I'm a nerd in several things, but I'm just not that nerdy on certain topics. I've seen Lord of the Rings one time, like overall. So
Well, Juice, we got through all 10 questions, and we also played our secret segment, What is this bug? And
perfect.
so, any last words we have for the viewers at home tonight?
Do we want to leave it to questions from the viewers first?
Oh, any questions from the viewers now?
Why do
Chat
I
wonders, why do you hate cool cars? Do insects have emotions?
I'll answer the cool cars first. I don't hate cool car. I don't care about cars in general. No, to the emotions thing because I don't have a limbic system. Um, but in all things, emotions are okay on a level. Yes, no, they don't have emotions ultimately. But like if you don't have emotions, it doesn't mean you don't care about things. So like you can give a shit about like this is my favorite rock. And why is it my favorite rock? Well, because I go here all the time. And this is the thing that I like to do with it. So like emotional, no, but like they will recognize you and they will understand. Like, for instance, like tarantulas are dumb as shit. And you may notice like Lolf has been kind of walking around behind me because every day when I sit in this chair, no matter the position of this chair, the second I sit down near Lolf, Lolth will walk over to that side of the cage and just kind of hang out because it understands that the chances of it being fed are very high when I'm in this chair. That's a thing that it seems to grasp despite not having thinky parts. So like it doesn't it has just a brainstem. So like it can at least understand instinctually however it's doing it that it does that. Another thing that's weird is like tarantulas, if you put a ping pong ball in their cage, they will move it around almost to in almost to say like they are getting something out of that interaction. They're not trying to eat it. They know it's not food. They will just move it around. And there's like some people that are like, well, maybe it's because it's like an egg sac, but then they found like male tarantulas doing it, which is like if there's no instinct, like a male tarantula has no interest in an egg sac. There's no benefit to it in whatsoever. Like it only wants to breed with a female and move on with its life. So why is it moving the ping pong ball? So then you run into the fact of like, well, maybe it's just like this is a thing that's interesting to it. So if a thing can be interesting, even if you don't feel anything, then it still means you get something out of it, which is I think much more complicated of an interaction than I think people give arthropods or just any kind of creature in general. Um, but also people have been like habitually bad where like okay they found out recently like crocodilians are much smarter than they thought because when we compare anything to whenever we talk about intelligence we always compare it to humans but it's just like if what's that old saying like if you compare like a fish's ability to climb a tree like fish are an idiot or something I don't know the exact quote clearly so I think like if you say all arthropods don't feel. It's like, yeah, correct. But they do have things that they can do. Does that make sense? Like they maybe not feel like you do, but like they have a person that they can recognize. They can have good days and bad days. Like some people that like I don't personally hold my tarantulas just because I'm huge and if I drop them, like my reaction would be like I'd go to grab them and then if it like bit me or threw hairs, my first instinct would be kind of like that fight or flight syndrome and like my fear would be I would hurt it, so I just remove myself from that equation. But some people like they go like, oh, I can normally hold my tarantula, but today it's having a bad day. It doesn't want to be held. Which like if it has that, then it implies that it has a more emotional, and I'm using air quotes for like emotional capabilities than I think we know. So I would say like in the future you'll probably in like the next 10, 15, 30 years, who knows how long, I feel like we're going to find that they're a lot more complicated than we actually expected because I have a lot of creatures that I obviously take care of every 2 days and without putting my own emotions on them, like you can see individual personality. And if you can have an individualized personality, even on a day-to-day basis, that means you have much more complex emotions than I think we think, just not in the literal emotional sense of like what a limbic system can provide. So sorry, I realize that's a tangent, but
No, that was interesting. So, wow. So if they don't necessarily have emotions, but they have predispositions. Like, does it want to play ping pong or was it playing with the ball?
it just moves it around the cage. They'll just do stuff with it. It kind of I can never remember this damn word. You know when you go to the zoo and they give them little things to interact with, and it's called I don't know what it's called that like keeps them happy.
Children.
No, definitely not children.
Not a petting zoo? What do you mean?
They'll give animals enrichment. There we go. Thank you. Enrichment is the word you guys I'm looking for. It's almost like it gives them enrichment. Like it's a thing for them to do, which is weird because like they will live their whole life in a hole and they don't give a shit. So it's just like they'll move it around. Like I don't think anyone knows why they do it, which is like, so if we don't know, then it's just like we can't make harsh decisions on like these things think this way. Like we haven't done enough studies. There aren't even enough arachnologists in the world to have like studied what they can and can't do because we base everything on like brain size. We were doing this up until like I think the 80s or 90s where we were like all dinosaurs are stupid because of brain size. And then like but then we identified like crows don't have that big of brains and yet they're pretty damn smart. So like there doesn't necessarily need to be brain size versus intelligence. And then we saw it again with like crocodiles. We learned that you can target train crocodiles. Like that's a huge deal. This is something that hasn't evolved since like the K2 extinction. So like there's a lot more to intellect than I think we know.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting stuff, Jews. Brains. Let's see. Let's see what other questions we have in chat. How accurate is the Jeff Goldblum masterpiece The Fly psychologically?
Physiologically or psychologically?
Physiologically, that is.
Um,
Oh, and psychologically. If you could answer both, actually, it was the original question.
what they did a really good job of, only probably because it's a Cronenberg movie, is him when he's puking on the donuts to digest them. I like that they did that. That's accurate. I don't know if flies are like especially strong, but I think they were probably going to like strength to size ratio of a fly, which like they're pretty. I mean, flies are really freaking fast. Like consider how fast a fly is and how much it must take to move that fast. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. I don't know. I think they did a pretty good job. I don't think they did. There's nothing I can think of that was like weird about it. I mean, as far as a Cronenberg movie goes, but like honestly, they did a pretty good job with that because they did. They showcased it. Even had like there's a part where she's like touching his back and he's like growing hairs out of his like which is so gross. But he's like growing like these thick ass bristles of hairs. So I thought that was pretty awesome. His hands like break up into like little pads like they have, which I thought was good. He climbed in the wall. Yeah, solid movie. It passes pedantic semantic.
Pedantic Semantic approved movie number
Yeah,
one, The Fly.
yeah.
What's your number two? What will be the second one?
What would be my second fly movie, or what would be my second
No,
like
second
accurate?
Pedantic Semantic approved movie about arthropods.
Oh, yeah. What is the name of the damn movie with the ape? Remember
Planet of the Apes?
the
Kong.
no,
King
King
Kong.
Kong,
It's
the
King Kong.
one, the Peter Jackson version. There's a scene where there's just a bunch of bugs in like a I don't know, they're like a swamp or something. And they had a lot of really unique bugs there, but they showcased two in particular that I'm like, yeah, I could see that. It was they call them potato bugs here, but I've always heard of them called Jerusalem crickets. I do not know what they're actually called. I don't remember the Latin for them. The big thick boys that have like little bitey faces that they call potato bugs here. They those bastards are mean. They'll bite the shit out of you. So like the scene where it's like climbing on him, like biting him, and the people are like throwing him and shooting him, and then the bloodworms where it like comes out of the soil all gross and then just bites on the guy. Yeah, solid. And they even had like a tailless whip scorpion that like does a really good job of like portraying that like just kind of creepy coming out and grabbing someone and sneaking. I mean there was probably some problems with it, and I need to go back and watch the scene, but they had a freaking centipede scene that if slightly venomous is still here, I'm sure she did not appreciate. Um, but I think overall they did a pretty good job of portraying what a horror show bugs would be on a large scale planet.
What else? What would be what's your number three Pedantic Semantic approved arthropod movie?
I'm trying to think. There's not many, man.
Could I recommend Men in Black?
Oh, okay. Men in Black did a pretty good. No, they didn't. They didn't at all.
Not enough.
They they like they made the lead guy like a roach, I think. He's like constantly has roaches coming out of him, which is like, wait, so I don't understand that movie because that movie is so good, but I don't understand what they're going for because they call him what do they call him? They call him an insect, don't they? Or something like that?
Yeah, I think they call him an insect or a roach or something.
They keep calling him an insect, which is fine.
Or
And
a
then they
bug. It
keep
might have been.
might
I
have
think they
been
call him
yeah,
a
it might have been
bug.
bug. I don't remember what they keep calling him. But then like they That's ridiculous. They he keeps seeing he keeps having like hissing cockroaches keep being like around, right? And then like my favorite part is like hissing cockroaches are not at all native to like to New York at all. No, okay. If the earth cockroaches are drawn to him, then I 100% say this movie sucks because
Really?
every every time they show cockroaches, there's 3 different kinds of cockroaches that they show. They show Madagascar hissing cockroaches. They show, I think, a Turkestan roach, and then the other one is like just a generic East German cockroach. But they keep showing him with like Madagascar hissing cockroaches. The one scene where like Will Smith is like kicking the side of a trash can and then like Madagascar hissing cockroaches fall out. I'm like, dude, who is putting these like in the trash? These are not like native to New York. They're like all over the place. So, but I would say ultimately my number 3 would be Starship Troopers
Why
because
is
they
that,
do a
Starship Troopers?
Because they do a really good job of like what a planet of bugs would be. And it's like you notice it's fucking desolate. There's not lush anything. There's no grass. There's nothing. Like if you had that many bugs, you would very it would be an asteroid. Like it wouldn't be anything if you had bugs that size. It would just absolutely decimate the whole place. Like you can't like they eat so much. Even that shitty Jurassic Park movie I just had or watched recently, they like showed what like like a chihuahua sized locust would do to thing. So like they wouldn't you would be screwed like if you had a planet of bugs. So like even though the arachnids were stupid, but they even show like beetles at one point where like they're like trying to kill this like what I think is supposed to be like a bombardier beetle and it just like takes an actual grenade to kill the damn thing. Like they're super hardy. They're just wiping people out. They come in swarms. Solid science fiction bug movie. But I
All
don't
right.
approve of the fact that it killed a bunch of Madagascar hissing cockroaches. That upsets me greatly. I'm hoping they were fake that when they actually stomped on them.
How many of them are Halloween hissers, you think?
None. I don't know. All of them hate it.
Hey, salt and snails.
Mm.
What's up with that? Why does that? Why don't they get along?
I actually don't know. Oh, I kind of do.
Oh, we got it, ladies and gentlemen.
Gastropods are just mostly liquid, right? Salt is it desiccates the shit out of them essentially. So it would be like it would just soak up all the fluid in them. So I think ultimately what it's doing is it's just absorbing all of what they are. It's just like drying them out, and I think they just die of like essentially. It's really fucked up to do it because it's essentially like you're putting acid on them. Like it's just like melting them as they go. But I think it's the same thing as like
But
why you put salt on ice. I think it ultimately just like I think it just dries them out, and desiccates the shit out of them. And when you desiccate a snail, there's not a lot left of it.
what what would happen if a snail got into like a kitty litter box? Got like ran across cat litter. Would it also be like salt?
Is there salt in cat litter?
No, but it's like absorbent, right?
I don't think it's. I'm gonna go with no because the way that they move is they basically like spittle a bunch of fluid down. They're like constantly oozing out of their front parts. The gastropods are weird. They're like constantly laying like a snot layer down that they're like gliding across. So I think they're probably fine. Because like they don't like die when they climb into soil that's dry. So I think like with that same concept of like if it was kitty litter, they would do it on like dirt. I think it's just like the cat litter would probably just be annoying as shit for them and it would stick to them and that would be a bigger problem. But no, I think I cannot see a
It's really just
possible
the so
scenario
you're
why they'd be
saying
there.
this so salt has some kind of chemical reaction to them?
Yeah, because like when you put salt on snow, for instance, it begins to melt it, right? It does something to ice. I don't know exactly what it does to liquids, but like when you eat salt, you can use it for both to hydrate and to dehydrate. So if you like constantly drinking salt water, you'll dehydrate yourself. I think it does the same thing, but at a much more rapid pace because the salt pieces are much bigger than they would be to a human. So I think it just desiccates the shit out of them. But I could be totally wrong. There might be some like there could be some like chemistry that's happening that I do not know.
I have two final questions for the evening. One, did you hear that spiders did you hear about that spider that tricks females with gifts of trash? Why are spider men as bad as human men?
I would say they're better than human men because like human men are Oh man, for the most part, human men evolved to be upper our muscles are a little bit stronger than most. Not like as an average, like overall. In the spider world, that's not the case. Spiders are much, much more. They're very big and they eat spiders men all the time. So like I'm gonna lie my ass off. Like if I'm a Spider Man, I am going to do whatever it takes to not get eaten. And so if tricking it's actually low. See, when we were just talking about like bugs being smarter than I think we're giving people credit for. If a spider has the ability to be like, well, why don't I just give this thing fucking trash? I'm not gonna like work my ass off for it. I'm just gonna give it a gift of trash. If they can like think like that, then that's a lot more process power than I would expect from a spider. Um, so I would say spiders are ultimately overall better than human men because like men can lie and deceive, but we also are huge and we have no reason to. Whereas like male spiders have a lot to lose. Like if they fuck up, they're dead. Like there's no like I don't breed Lolth because I love Lolth and I am not gonna have like the first breeding tarantula pair be with my favorite spider because there is a higher like 80+% chance that it's gonna die. So I'm just not gonna do that.
Whoops. So what you're saying is spiders are, if I heard this right, men are more deceiving but stronger or less and therefore safer than spiders.
Yeah, like
If I heard that
human
right.
beings, like human men will deceive. Okay. Human men can be physically bigger and still
Mhm.
deceive, where like,
Big and
which
deceiving.
is weird, right? Like, I mean, like that, not a lot of species could, we have a society, I guess is what it boils down to. Like, we choose not to be like we're horrible, like, but we have the choice to be horrible or good. Spiders don't have that choice. And also the male spiders are physically not like they're not bigger. Like they're definitely going to get eaten. Oftentimes they are significantly smaller. I mean, like the male black widow, for instance, is like a sixth of the size. So like it's just to me, ultimately, it's like human men are worse because like we have if we have a physical advantage and we still chose to deceive, it makes us a shittier thing. And also we have the intellect to like not do either of those things. So like we choose to be a shithead, whereas like a spider, like I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to fucking get eaten. Like it would be, I would never date ever if my option was like be single and live a happy life, or 85% chance you're gonna get fucking eaten. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That sucks. That's terrible.
Love is battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're a spider.
Um all right. Well, I think that's it. I think we did it, everyone. Thanks so much for attending episode 3 of Pedantic Semantic. I was your host, Hard Lawrence, and I was here with Juice of Juice's Arthropods, and we wish you a safe and happy September 24th.
Bye, guys. Thanks again. Come see us next.